Afternoon class, Professor Collins speaking on discussion board, Module 5, Nonfeasance, Misfeasance, Malfeasance. The case I chose for today's discussion is the Justine Damon case in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I know a number of you had used that in the last discussion board, and I chose to use it because I think it fits these parameters of nonfeasance, misfeasance, and malfeasance. It's a very complex case, and I think it'll be studied for quite a long time. In the fact of this was not a typical police use of force. This was not an arrest situation. This was not a car stop. This was a 911 caller reporting what she thought was a violent crime and going out to direct the police or speak to the police, and ends up losing her life as a firearm is discharged from inside of the police radio car and striking the complainant. The Supreme Court has ruled police use of force comes under the Fourth Amendment of search and seizure, whereas losing your life is the ultimate seizure. Your life is taken by the act of the police. And this was kind of summed up in a 1984 Supreme Court decision called Tennessee v. Garner, which I have attached to this discussion board. And it kind of relates to how the police respond in the use of force. And it is designed to protect the lives of the officer or the lives of innocents. It's really the only time that police can use deadly physical force. You're not allowed to fire warning shots. You're not allowed to use deadly physical force in property crimes. This has kind of set the guidelines and policies of use of force for police departments throughout the country. So looking at the situation on the Damon case and Officer Noor, the officer involved, I don't think it was a case of malfeasance, an illegal act committed in the course of his duties. I don't think this was any kind of premeditated or a situation where he was using force because he felt threatened by Ms. Damon. I think it's a clear case of misfeasance. He obviously violated the parameters of Tennessee v. Garner and the Supreme Court rulings and in search and seizure. He violated department policy, and he made some very, very bad tactical errors. And from a safety point of view, taking out a loaded firearm in the confined spaces of a vehicle, putting his partner at risk, and obviously resulting in the death of Ms. Damon is a tactical error. I also believe he had his finger on the trigger. Those of us who know automatic weapons, it doesn't take a lot of pressure for the gun to go off. And this type of tragedy has happened twice before in New York City, in the public housing in Brooklyn, in the areas of officers conducting vertical patrol where they go up the stairways, across the roof and down the other stairway with an unholstered firearm in their hand. They were startled by innocent civilians. The gun went off and 2 people were killed. In one instance, the grand jury did not indict the one officer. In the second instance, the officer was indicted, tried, and convicted of reckless manslaughter. So this is a tactical error, dangerous error, and obvious misfeasance on the part of Officer Noor. There's other issues within this case, and I've added the news stories regarding the leadership in the Minneapolis Police Department. This tragic shooting caused the chief of police at the time, Janie Hartow, to step down. She was asked to step down by the mayor. Obviously, Chief Hartow and Mayor Hodges had some issues on a previous high-profile shooting in 2015 with Jamar Clark. There were community concerns, and they felt that they needed a change in leadership. Chief Hartow was also absent during the shooting and didn't come in for 5 days after the shooting because she was on vacation, supposedly backpacking or hiking in a various area. Well, just in my personal opinion, I said, if you're the chief of police, you should be available at all times. It comes with the position and the responsibilities that you take, or have a system in place that they can reach you, or have the local state police of where you're camping or backpacking to kind of get you in there as soon as possible. I know from personal experience of interviewing for chief of police positions in smaller departments, the first question I asked you was, what is your biggest fear? And my answer was always that while home in bed asleep, a bad shooting is going to occur within my department. And the answer of that my leadership abilities would be able to handle it and work through and quell community concerns and give a thorough investigation. A good part in this situation is that the Minneapolis Police Department is not investigating this shooting. It's being done by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which is kind of a state investigative organization that handles all the officer-involved shootings in the state of Minnesota. That is a good part. All right, so Hartow steps down, and a new Chief Arredondo comes in, and the first thing he does is addresses the concern that people had about the body cameras on Officer Knorr and his partner. They were not activated. He immediately set a new policy that as soon as they're called on a job, they have to activate their body cameras. This is a good move to kind of quell community concerns, and it brings into the discussion of body cameras. They're useful for accountability, but I think a lot of departments, because of how new they are in technology on rules and procedures and policy on how to use them. This is a discussion I think that's going to go on for the next couple of years and involving in high-profile police situations and how the body camera is activated and used. So to go over it again, the Justine Damon case in Minneapolis is her Fourth Amendment rights under the Supreme Court case of Tennessee v. Garner were violated through the misfeasance of Officer Knorr, in that he violated the policies and procedures of the Minneapolis Police Department, made tactical errors, and in what more than likely was a mistake from a high sense of being worried about this violent attack they were investigating. As I said, he was on high alert and was ready for anything, but made that tactical error that resulted in the death of Miss Damon. Thank you.